To order at 8:30. Patty, you take a visual roll call. And are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I'll second it, even though I don't have an agenda.
We'll take care of that too.
Just because you've been gone for what,
We haven't
how
been
long
there
on a
like
Who are you
vacation?
people anyway? Oh, I know him.
Okay, it's been moved in second that we approve the consent agenda A. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, fire department updates.
Just really quick, two updates is, thank you for showing up Saturday to our new hire testing. Unfortunately, out of the 22 who signed up, only 5 showed up.
That's crazy.
Looks like one is not even a medic, but we'll verify that at the oral interviews. That's on the 26th,
Okay.
which fortunately we'll only have to have 1 day of interviews.
Well,
And
they all
then
passed, right?
they all passed the written test, which is good.
That's good.
This is the first time we did this new generation test, it's called. Just something for maybe the next, this is not to ask to vote on it today, but in March, I would hope, plan on asking you if we can possibly waive the polygraph for our hiring process. It's a 4 to 6 week lead time to get that appointment. And the last test we ran, we lost about 4 people in the process because they got hired by other municipalities quicker than we were able to process them. I don't need a decision today, it's just something maybe to think about. And we can talk about it more in
At what
March.
point would they take the lie detector test?
They wouldn't, we would
wouldn't
just
take
drop
it.
that requirement.
Oh.
They do the full background, we would still do the conditional with the psychological evaluation and the medical, physical, but just a lot of departments are leaning towards getting rid of the polygraph altogether. But that's up to
What's
you.
the history been on polygraph passing and failing?
As chief, have never had anyone fail the polygraph. So I'm not sure what the value of it is. But if a lot of other fire departments are dropping it, what are we missing?
Well, we still do background checks.
Well, absolutely do a thorough background check, the fingerprints through the police department. Again, don't need a decision, nothing to vote on today, that's why it's not on the agenda. I just maybe digest it over the next month, think about it, maybe reach out, network to your other commissioners and see,
John,
food for thought.
are you seeing anything?
I have not seen anybody drop the polygraph that's using it, but not everybody uses it. I mean, there is still some question as to the validity of polygraphs. In court, polygraphs are not accepted. Polygraphers would have you believe it's a science. I'm not sure that it really is. But, I have seen other commissions dropping other various portions of the process in an effort to expand the pool.
Mm-hmm.
But polygraph, like I said, some use it, some don't. I have not seen anybody drop it. But I've not heard also a 4 to 6 week lead time to get one scheduled. That seems to be inordinately long.
Yeah. Okay.
What point in the process does a polygraph fall usually?
Right after the background, it's before the conditional.
Okay.
So we could send everyone through the backgrounds and send them for polygraphs. And then once then I have to come back to you for the conditional to send them for the psych and the medical physical.
Okay.
We were having trouble with cops and fire. They were about 3-4 weeks out, so we have another person that we use, and he gets it done within a week.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
well, maybe you can pass that on, because
Yeah,
we use
he's-
cops and fire too, and,
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Hennessy or something. He's a retired.
do you use
chief.
polygraph?
Yeah.
Do you guys do a psych also?
Yeah.
For your new
By
hire?
law, we have to do psych.
Okay.
Poly is, not every, I don't think Chicago does polys, but the thing that we've seen is a lot of times when they go to poly, the people will admit to stuff because they know they're running a machine and, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, And we've had some fail, but not many. Most of the time they pass it, but sometimes they'll come back like, oh, geez, he admitted this to the polygraph guy, but he didn't tell us about this in our interview. So it gives us something to work with,
Sure, well, maybe that's an option, they can forward me that information and we can
at least for now.
call and I just wanna give you guys the most accurate information and make a sound decision, that's all. So if you can forward me that,
Yeah,
that'd be great, thank you.
Just got someone to use.
Absolutely,
But you're right, like Chicago doesn't do it.
yeah,
Like,
thank you, and that's all I have, thank you very much.
Okay. We'll move on to the police department updates.
Well, you want to introduce the first part, the first bullet of B, 5B,
Okay.
to enter into a record if you want to just, or I can read it out if you want me to.
None of that requires exec session, right?
No,
Okay.
no, not that part.
Okay. So then it's the amendment to section 9, the lateral entry registry, police officer of the rules and regulations of the Board of Fire and Police Commissions, Village of Villa Park. So do you want to tell us a little bit
Is there anything you want to start
about
outside?
that? Yeah.
No, I don't know if we have that sheet that Patty had, the one liner.
It's attached to
Yeah,
the
it's
agenda.
attached to.
Oh, it's that.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the last
Does
page.
it yell it out?
Well, in short, and Dan could jump in at any time, there's one line we want to add to section 9, and it's not really in bold on yours, but it's a little bit lighter. It says, and it's the second paragraph up, middle of the way through, the final eligibility roster will be continually revised to include all candidates for lateral entry. We still will have a scoring system, we still will have interviews, none of that will change. Just, we need to keep that process open just to stay concurrent and competitive with the market. And take advantage of people who are submitting applications, when our list is still up and running. And those people on that list will still be eligible for 2 years, so none of that changes. Just the part that it will be an open list and not closed. Like the previous process where we had 6 candidates, the list is closed, it's good for 2 years, we go through those 6, but you lose any potential people who might qualify for us to put on that list. So, is there anything else you want to add?
John, did you want to?
No, that's entirely appropriate. I've actually discussed it with the chief, and other places are doing the same for the exact same reason. I think it gives a better pool because it's a constant pool.
Yeah.
So John, because we brought up at the last meeting about, because it says in there that you have to score these applicants. But when they're coming in on an ongoing basis, you're not having like one big interview and you're scoring. Because we thought maybe take the scoring part out and just have a discussion on who should be, but then you got the military points, how do you add points to a
You've got to have
non-existent
some
number?
kind of scoring. Now, that's a very broad term. And an assessment or a rating can be a score. So if you evaluate these people, whether it's through background, through their prior employment, through an oral interview, and nobody does a written test for lateral, so you forget about a written test. But it has some process of evaluating or scoring the candidate. And that can be as free and as flexible as you want it to.
Do the interviews usually include police and fire and the police department, or, because I know in the past we've done where we're all together, but with these coming in on an ongoing basis, I don't know.
So my recommendation is that the commission be involved in the interview process, because again, ultimately, the commission's got to certify the person for hire.
Yeah.
Now, in most departments that are using lateral entry, all of the pre-work is all done by the police department, maybe even an interview at the police department level. But ultimately, the commission's got to certify these people for hire. My recommendation is for the commission to interview.
Well, with that being said, we have 5 applicants, and we are ready to set a date to interview them.
So you're taking the 2-year thing out so they could be on it forever then?
No, 2-year state.
Well, what's this thing, there's 2 cross-reference, an individual and a registered lateral more than 2 years has been selected. So they can be on, so does that mean they can still only be on for 2 years? Or does that mean,
Just means you can be under, so if we got a 2-year list and someone applies, we can add someone to it.
we're gonna put a date to when that person has applied. Let's say it's somebody who comes in after a list we've established.
So each individual can be on for 2 years?
Yes, but their own clock.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's what I meant.
That's the intent of the statute.
That's what I
And that's actually the intent of the statute for even your candidate testing. Is they remain on, the statute says remains on the list for a period of 2 years.
Okay, got it. I just.
You know,
I didn't
we've
explain
always
it well.
implied that to be the list lasts 2 years, but because trying to keep track of 2 years all the time, but for 5 candidates, not that bad of a deal.
Okay, so everybody owes their own clock for 2 years.
And we can go with a similar scoring system that we did, and we'll line up the 5 candidates, they have them all at once. We could probably even maybe arrange something at the next Fire and Police Commission meeting, because that would be early, or that'd be later on.
April.
April.
This, we've got 26 already scheduled with fire candidates
On the 26th?
on the 26th. So
Then-
you set a date when you want to,
What time was the first one of those?
pardon
9
me?
o'clock.
Because you're
The
saying,
meeting's
We
at
got the meeting
8:30.
before that.
The meeting's at 8:30.
Oh, we're having a meeting before?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
scheduled meeting
Meeting's
before.
at 8:30,
March
the interviews
26th.
start at 9.
Yeah, at the
Yeah, we're going to the
library,
library, right?
Yes, we're at the
like we did
library.
last.
Okay, got you.
How about like the 28th? That same week, I don't know if you want to crank them both out in 1 week, or
Let me see.
Thursday the 28th. That's not our Chiefs meeting day, right? No.
no, well, it might be, but we're trying to be aggressive because.
Thursday, the
Yeah.
28th is okay for me in the morning. What about you two?
I'm okay.
I don't know, I gotta look and see.
Yeah, it would preferably be the morning, because I think we might have the Chiefs meeting, yeah, later on, so
Well, so if we do it at 8 AM, we should be fine, right?
8 or 8:30.
Yeah.
And we can either do a panel or we could do individuals, you know,
It's only 5, maybe
There's only
individuals,
5,
that would
yeah.
go fast.
Well, if we do, we may not make the Chiefs meeting though.
okay.
And this is for
What we're
interviews?
about- Do you guys wanna do 2 days in a row, do a Wednesday that week, or?
No,
I just soon get it done.
Wednesday's already taken up in the morning,
There
sorry.
you go. Yes.
Let's do them at 1
What
o'clock.
are we talking
I
about?
mean,
March
you know, do it
28th?
in the morning. What time is your chief's meeting?
I have to be there at 10:30, because I do have to do setup, I'm the setup
Yeah.
guy.
So if we do start at
meeting.
8:30, you know, that'll only take an hour, hour and 15, hour and a half.
And if time's running short for me, then I just remove myself and
Yeah.
get to where I need to be.
Well, unless we just start at 8.
Start at 8, that's fine
Okay.
too.
So we're March
9, 10, because
28th.
it's 2 hours.
8
then.
o'clock. And where do you want that? Here or at the police department?
Thursday.
We could do it in our conference room,
Yeah,
like we did last time.
Okay, at the police department then.
And we're gonna, what, we're gonna interview,
Candidates.
How many?
Five applicants, for lateral entry.
are we doing these individually?
We'll try to do like
Yeah.
15 minutes per,
Gotcha.
20
Yeah.
minutes maybe, something like
Yeah,
that.
and that'll be 8 o'clock.
But just to kind of stay on task, we haven't approved the amendment to the.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right, yeah.
I know.
We haven't made the motion
Which
yet.
allows us to do what we're doing on the 28th.
Yes.
Yes.
We haven't made the motion
They were
yet.
gonna get back to it.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna circle back.
Okay, so are there any additional questions on the amendment to section 9? If there is now, to entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second, no additional questions. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried.
And we actually took care of the second bullet also.
Yes.
We snuck that one in on the first bullet. Permission to schedule interviews for lateral eligibility register candidates, which we now have March 28th, 8 AM, as agreed by everybody. And then now updates to the final eligibility register for our basic eligibility list. You want to go through?
We can go with executive, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. we're gonna-
Executive
we'll say that
session?
for executive, I apologize. yes.
Okay, then, a motion to go into exec session and the time is 8:45.
I'll make that motion.
I will actually second it.
There you go. Don't get-
the agenda.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Say aye, John. Oh, aye, okay.
As the result of exec session, we have some names that we will wish to remove from the list. And Patty or the chief, do you want to read those names that you want removed?
I can do that real quick, now that I have the school card in front of me. The first candidate we would request would be Patrick Prentice, for the reasons we stated in the eligibility, or in the executive session. We would request to remove, are we recording?
Yes, this
Okay.
is recorded.
Okay. So we would request to have Patrick Prentice removed from the eligibility list for the reasons stated during the exec session. The next candidate, Evan Leonard, for the reasons we had stated during the exec session, we would request that those two candidates be removed from the list. Should we just have that as an actual item and then we keep going, or just do it?
It's probably better to separate the motions to the removals and then the conditional offers.
Okay,
Both Patrick and Evan to be removed.
correct. And,
Okay.
and going down the list, we would also ask Joshua Spalding and Angelo Benedict to be removed from the list based on the reasons we had stated during the exec session. So 4 different candidates to remove from the list moving forward.
Okay.
That exhausts that part of the list.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to remove 4 names from our list. Any questions? Not. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Now, 2 candidates which we wish to have a conditional offer sent out to them. The first candidate is Stavrula Kapos, and then the other candidate would be Joshua Wilkins.
Do we have to make any statement about
Pending vacancy.
pending?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Well, for the second candidate, Joshua Wilkins, it would be pending a position opening up in our department. Confirming a position opening up in our department.
Yeah.
That'd be all one.
Yeah, the one motion's fine, as long as it's got the qualifier. for Wilkins.
I'll make that motion then.
Second?
Okay. It's been moved in second that we make a conditional offer to 2 candidates, one being pending a vacancy occurring. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Do we need a motion to pass Civil, or just leave her on the list?
No, that's a pass, as long as she's made the pass, she just stays on the list, no motion for that.
Okay.
Good.
Now, transitioning to our lateral list, we have 1 candidate who we would respectfully request to remove from our lateral list, and that being Terrence Mastrino, for the reasons stated during our executive session.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Been moved in second that we remove a candidate from the lateral list. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Is that it? Wow.
That is it.
Okay.
That's enough, right?
How many do we have left on the list?
We have
I think
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
6, but we know like 2 had taken positions with other departments, but we haven't confirmed that they would leave that department.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Is there any other business? John, did you want to add anything?
I really don't have anything to add, no legislative changes yet, although the legislature is just early into their meetings, so, short of that, I have nothing.
And don't they have to have everything done by the 15th or something like that?
Third reading in the Senate is the last Friday in March.
Okay.
So everything will have to be on the floor by the
By
end of
then.
March, through
Yeah.
committees.
Should be interesting. Any other questions, comments, business? Welcome, Brandon.
Hello. That's all the good stuff for the 26th.
sounds like
For the 26th.
Did you want to say anything?
No, thank you.
You're gonna-
I apologize for being late. I was
That's-
Yep, same ones again.
That's
So
okay.
once You'll have the.
Chief.
Okay, I'll
Good.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You got a
I
second,
wanna sit
Glenn?
around for it, no. I'll second that.
At 9:03. Motion has been made and second to adjourn, 9:03, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I have a
Enjoy.
question.